Welcome back to Key is King. Today we are getting into the latest and the greatest out of Potomac, which they have some stuff going on and a few things very much excited me about this episode. So let's get into it. We open up with Mia and her two fathers comment, or the fathers of my children. Now, we were thinking she meant Inc. because, you know, the Maury Povich of it all, but she's talking about her first baby daddy, who the degrees of separation are real, and let's just say, I know somebody who knows somebody that is related to Mia's first baby daddy. Not related to, but just like like I said, knows of, which is crazy to me. But Mia's like, yeah, the fathers of my children, and they're going on. And of all people, Karen is trying to defend her alongside Jacqueline. And so Karen's trying to say, like, everyone slow down and, like, slow your roll and, like, not ask Mia so many questions, or, I guess, pointed questions. And Jacqueline is saying that Gordon is essentially bipolar. She's, like, explaining that he's fine one minute, then he's not, and da-da-da-da. And so Mia's just kind of sitting there taking it all, and Wendy jumps in and is like, what Jacqueline is essentially saying is that Mia's putting on a facade, which is hilarious and messy, because Wendy is intellectual enough to know that might start some problems, which it does. But Mia, essentially, out of all of this, is mad at Gizelle for questioning her and coming at her, and feels very offended by Gizelle. Which, good luck, Mia, if you think that's really going to go well for you in the end. But Mia has decided she's mad at Gizelle. And not only is she mad at Gizelle, as everyone's, like, walking away, she was mad at Jacqueline, too. She was like, get away from me, Jacqueline. Don't talk to me, Jacqueline. Jacqueline was trying to defend you. Even though Jacqueline sucks at most things that she does on this show, she really was trying to defend you. But as they were all going on and about Mia, Wendy breaks it with, oh, I'm getting a citation from the mayor. And the women were convinced that she was not using the right word. They were like, a citation is not a good thing. Like, a ticket, like, Karen might be dealing with some citations. But they're like, Wendy. But Eddie came over and said citation as well, and they all fucking lost it. They thought it was just the biggest mistake, but apparently she got a citation. And I guess that's good. So, good for her. But that was the opening scene of them just grilling Mia as she deserved it, and she had the nerve to be upset. Like, girl, boo. Boo. So after Wendy receives her citation and the girls read Mia, the divorced girlies in the group decide to pull Stacy inside for a little powwow and a little come to Jesus moment, because Stacy's about to have her mediation, and she still thinks shit is sweet. She is a black woman who married a very rich and affluent German man and a businessman, and she thinks that she's about to go into mediation to rainbows and sunshine. So they pulled her into the room and they were just like, are you prepared for shit to go left? Because shit's probably gonna go left. And she's like, well, it's great, it's good, it's, I don't know what you're talking about. And Karen's like, baby, you have a boyfriend that you are, like, flaunting on national television. You might want to chill out. You might want to calm down. Because you don't know what that man is gonna react like. You don't know what he's gonna do. Ashley was kind of giving her 2 cents, because we know that Ashley and Stacy are really bonded through their experiences and having biracial children. And so Ashley's kind of talking about Michael a little bit, and Michael is not playing with her. By the way, he's like, look, I've had enough slander on this show being married to you. I am not about to have it off this show. Like, Michael's not playing with Ashley. But Stacy's like, no, I think I'll be fine. And Karen's like, girl, you're one. I think Gizelle was the one that was like, Stacy girl, you are in danger. Like, stop playing. Stop. But let's see if they're right by the end of the episode. Before they move on from Wendy's 40th birthday party, they showcase Eddie's family and Wendy and her family kind of being reunited and reconnected. Now, this includes just her, like, immediate family of her children and her husband, but it is her husband's sisters, I believe. And it was just emotional. They haven't, like, talked or fucked with each other in, like, 14, 13 years. So they were, like, crying and hugging, and Wendy, like, introduced her children to their aunts. So that's wild that all that time has passed. They didn't even know their children. But I'm glad that they have that moment. I'm glad it was captured on camera, just for the sake of showing forgiveness and positivity. And I hope it actually works. I hope it wasn't just for some TV shit. But Wendy gives me that it would be real. And I feel like African people don't play like that anyway. Well, we had a NECA, but she don't count for nothing. But yeah, it was like, oh, cute. Everyone was crying and happy and just about it. I was like, oh, that was nice. That was really nice. And then they move on to a scene of Gizelle and her oldest daughter, Grace. Yes, Grace. And Grace be looking like she does not give two shits about Gizelle. Now, I know she does, more than likely. But Grace be looking at her like, bitch, please. But they're talking about how she was away at college when her grandpa died, aka Giselle's dad, and how it was probably better for her to be that way. At least one of them felt like that. And how just her daughters, her twin daughters, are going to do at college. Grace feels that one will do better than the other, as far as like being detached and going to different places and not having each other. But they were just kind of talking and catching up and having a kiki. Giselle's daughter telling her she can't cook, she could bake but she can't cook. So just a cute little scene. But as most of the viewers of this franchise know, the most redeemable quality about Gizelle is her daughters always. So it was cute, it was quick, but nothing crazy to write home about, honestly. We move on to a scene with Ashley and her kids, and let me start off by saying Ashley's children are always on the counter. Like, feet on the counter, ass on the counter. The half white in her is screaming, and about 3/4 white in her children are screaming even louder. Why are they always on the counter? Like, it could really be a cultural thing. I know some people might say, oh, that's what wipes are for, that's what Lysol's for. No, that's what the floor is for. Get on the fucking floor. Just every time I see these children, they are like feet, like, I would put my foot up here, but there's no reason to do that. They are just always toes on the marble. Couldn't be me. It definitely was not me as a child. I can barely lean on the counters in like my family's home, so I was like, girl, get them off the counter. But she's talking about Michael, she's talking about their settlement or their mediation, and how she has to face him, and she's big scared of Michael. Like, she doesn't know where all the bodies are. Like, Ashley is stressful in her do-nothingness. But she's talking about how she wants the children 7 days a week, and Michael can have them on the weekend. Unless she's talking about day visits, she has a concussion. I don't know. I don't know what Ashley's talking about, but her whole scene was her children's feet on the counter and her not being able to do math, apparently. As she's like on her way to mediation or talk about I don't know. It was a chop. It was a chop. She gets no 10s for that scene. None. They then move on to our newest housewife, which is Kay. And they're with Kay at her man's business. Now, what I love about reality TV is that they definitely used a clip from this scene in earlier episodes talking about Kay and her man. Because my photographic memory just catches shit like that. But I always laugh when they do that. I'm like, y'all just chopped and screwed the hell out of this. But that's what TV is. If you know, you know. But Kay's with her man, who is a like clinical psychologist or something like that. And he works for a school system, I'm pretty sure. And she like works with him, and he just is like an old school type of guy. He's a few years older than her, so he has just like this older man mentality when it comes to, I guess, their personalities. And he loves that she like works for him and loves to like pull rank and like say shit like that. Which, even when you like clean it up a little bit, it's always a little bit concerning when people love the powers of positions even over their loved ones a little too much. Yeah, it's just it's red flaggish a little bit, but they're just going through that. They're very jokey, they're very comfortable with each other, obviously, at work. And I don't know if I would love to work with a couple like that, just in general. But I also have like third wheel trauma, so don't really listen to me. But yeah, he keeps joking how she doesn't really do nothing and that her responsibilities around the office are kind of low, which, like I said, there's a bit of truth in every fucking joke. Don't be sleep. But they're talking also about the fact that Kay is literally suing Sesame Street, aka Deborah, Ashley's former friend, for assaulting her and giving her a scar on her forehead. Which she should be suing all of those bitches that essentially jumped her, but sometimes you just gotta pick a target, I guess. And Sesame Street was the tallest piece of grass in that stupid ratchet field of Ashley's friends. So she's suing Deborah and she's pressing all the charges. And Kay's man did not even want her to be on this show or part of this group for that reason, which is interesting. But she was like, nope, I'm going to get this bag, I'm going to get this lawsuit, and we're going to be good. So shout out to UK for going the legal route. Because Deborah deserves it. She really did. Now look at you, stupid. Now look at you. We then move on to a small lunch scene with Ashley, Gizelle, Karen, Wendy, and Stacy. And so they're all getting together, and not Ashley. I mean, Ashley does end up sharing, but she's not important right now. Stacy is the one that opens up almost immediately about her mediation that she had with her husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband at the time. And per, like, what everybody said and what we were probably all thinking, she did not know shit. She's talking about bank accounts she didn't know about, other shit she didn't know about, shit in her name she didn't know about. Like, girl, you didn't even know who cut your grass. And you thought you knew, like, what was happening in your marriage? If you don't oil up that brain a little bit, Miss Newscaster, reporting live from your brain, of course you didn't know. Like, of course you didn't know. Why would you know? And so, they're all just like, Karen was just like, and everybody was kind of giving their I told you so looks, but they were offering her support still. Ashley's talking about how she's afraid to look Michael in his eyes. She didn't even look at him during their mediation that was like 9 hours long, and she really didn't get anything other than the fact that he wants to essentially pay her off and say that she can't talk about him ever again. Which, props to her, she was like, no, can't do that. Sorry. Especially like on the show, he was like, can't mention me on the show. She was like, I cannot control anybody else. Can't do it. So at least she got a piece of sense. She ain't got many, but she got a piece. And so, whatever. Every time Ashley talks these days, I just roll my eyes almost to another state. Just, I can't do it with her. But Wendy, Professor Wendy, 4 Degrees Wendy, had the nerve to offer her support in the way of, oh, I don't know anything about my bills either. I don't know how to pay my mortgage. I don't know how much the electricity is. She was like, I don't know nothing. Girl, you are too smart and you talk too much shit about your brain to not have a blues clue about your bills. But she was trying to say like, well, I take care of the kids, I take care of like the home, I take care of that, and I like, mind you. Wendy has a good husband, okay? All intents and purposes, Eddie seems perfectly fine and supportive and in love and loyal. But still, you gotta know something. Like, maybe I'm just a jaded, you know, but like, maybe that's it. But I don't trust nothing that much. I don't even know if I trust me that much right now. So like, girl, please figure it out for yourself. And she said she would. Like, she was claiming to be inspired by this conversation, but you know who seemed to know where everything was, according to her recollection of her own life, was Gizelle. You know what? I believe her. Because Gizelle knows. She's cynical enough to know, oh, I need to know just in case. Also, she was dating Pastor Holy Whore. I would have been counting every tithe, offering, nickel, penny, and dime in that house too. Messing with an allegedly gay, holy pastor man. Like, girl, bye. So I believe Gizelle. Be like Gizelle, ladies. Be like Gizelle. Know that you're married to a scumball, okay? So they move on to the scene of the mostly divorced wives club. And they talk, they have a scene of Karen and Raven, which is her daughter, and they're talking and going to lunch. And Raven just seems like a prissy little thing, but I feel like she is a wild, prissy little thing. Evidenced by the fact that Karen's like, how's your dating life? And she's like, nobody important enough for you to meet, which means I'm out here fucking. Yeah, that definitely means that Raven is getting it in. Like, and she's like, Mom, don't worry about it. But Karen, I'm sure understands because she did not catch Ray just walking down the street. I promise you that. In this scene though, the stress of Karen's life is visible on her. She looks very thin to me. But Raven is defending her honor and essentially saying that anybody that's not going to be concerned or caring in this time is not a friend. And typical, absolutely correct by definition, but like, we anticipate this from Karen and her people. They're going to defend her because that's what they should do, but it was real cut and dry. It was real, but I like Raven. She seems cool. I'd hang out with her. So after Raven and Karen's lunch, we move on to the worst duo on this fucking franchise, which is Mia and Jacqueline. And so Mia decides that she's going to be giving Jacqueline a makeover. Mia needs to make over her spirit and her soul. She needs to stop worrying about other people's outward appearances and worry about her inner appearance. Because she is rotted. Like, completely rotted. And so Mia decides that Jacqueline needs a makeover so desperately, and she's calling her like a farm girl. She's talking about her style, how she like needs some help, which they did do a little montage, and it's giving like Sunday service a little bit sometimes. It's giving regular, but a lot of people are regular, and that's fine. But they're on TV and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, I guess. So Mia's giving her a makeover and talking shit about her in her confessionals. So the weirdest relationship ever. And I'm just convinced that this is a humiliation ritual of some sort. Like, Mia is evil as shit, and she brought this woman on TV in general just to put her through it. Like, this has to be the most long-term revenge plot in any recorded history. It has to be. There's no other way, because they're bringing Jacqueline out in these ugly-ass outfits that Mia is endorsing as beautiful. It's a humiliation ritual. It really is. It really is. Like, I'm convinced. The whole time I was watching this, I was like, oh, this is like some Illuminati level humiliation ritual shit. There's no other explanation for it. I'm telling y'all. If you can think of one, please leave a comment, because I can't think of one. Not one. Not one. But anyway, after Mia humiliates Jacqueline, she makes her sit down in her ugly outfit to talk about Gizelle, who Mia is officially set her sights on. She thinks she's about to take down Gizelle. And this is what I'm talking about. Mia is Girl Interrupted of Potomac. Gizelle? Okay. Now, we've seen Gizelle get kind of like taken down before, but Mia, you do not have the credentials. You can't even tell the truth. How are you going to fight with Gizelle and you can't even tell a truth? I mean, I guess you could like lie, but like that's not going to get you far in this group. But Jacqueline thinks she's shading Gizelle and hits Mia right in her fucking chin, but maybe that was her getting her lick back for being in this scene the way she was. Because she was like, Gizelle don't even have a man. She's mad you have like 3 or 4. Girl, your best friend, lesbian lover, scissor sister is supposed to have 2 right now. What happened to, who were 3 and 4? But this is why they're the worst duo. They don't even know who they're fighting with. Half the time it's each other and indirectly with each other. They're like blindfolded, swinging and throwing shade. Like, they need... So after we move on from the dynamic, doomful duo of Mia and Jacqueline, we end the episode with Ashley's event. She's having a charity event for homelessness, I think. Yeah. It was homelessness because she shared a story about how her and her mother, Miss Sheila, would have been homeless if it weren't for her grandma back in the day. So, Ashley's doing something nice for the homeless, which this version of that is jumping off the side of a building. Okay, whatever floats the boat, you're on TV, right? But I guess even if they weren't on TV, the people would still be doing this. But they have paid money to jump off the side of this building, scaled down it like Spider-Man. It's giving Spider-Man-esque. And so all the ladies are arriving with their children, because this is a family event. And so everyone's kind of coming up. At first I thought Gizelle was being like icy with the children, because she just kind of stood there and looked at Stacy's daughter when she met her. But she was like giving Wendy's kids daps and hugs and stuff. So I was like, okay. Alright, I was about to really judge you. Well, I mean, not everybody has to like kids, but like being like, I don't know. It's just me. Like, I feel like there are certain groups of people that when people are like outwardly or just overtly like mean to them, I'm like, something's wrong with you. Because even like to not like kids is one thing, but to like be just like mean or like, I don't know, just skews me out. But I also love kids, so maybe it's just one of those things. Anyway, they are all arriving. Their children are arriving. Ashley's kids come with the nanny. And so as Mia is coming, she's hugging everybody. She hugs Gizelle, but she's like, oh, I have to talk to you after this. Like, I have to talk to you. This is being shady, as if she really wants those problems. She don't. And so Gizelle's like, oh, what did I do? I thought I was doing good. And Karen's like, wait, talk to Gizelle. Like, everyone's inquiring. Inquiring minds would like to know. So Ashley scales the building like Spider-Man. Her kids are happy. They're screaming. They're excited. And not Wendy, Mia takes her opportunity to talk to Gizelle. And she's confronting her about how she came at her in front of the group. And just how she was kind of coming at her in general. And of course, the ladies start to trickle over and they want to know what's going on and what's happening. And Mia decides she wants to take a shot at Gizelle's daughters. And this is why Mia is not fucking smart, okay? Because apparently some of the information that Gizelle was sharing was something that Mia either talked about her off camera with, or she just felt that Gizelle was kind of being messy and bringing up an overshare of information. And so Mia decides she's going to bring up the fact that Gizelle's daughters were sneaking boys into the house when she was in the Dominican Republic. And so Gizelle was playing kind of dumb at first, or kind of playing like, what are you talking about? And everybody was gooped that Mia even decided to talk about her daughters like that, because last season when nobody was really talking about Gizelle's daughters and she claimed that they were, she made a whole stink. And this time somebody's actually talking about your daughters. So, Gizelle's like, I think she was just shocked that Mia even would say something. She's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? That didn't happen. And then she's like, oh yeah, I saw a boy on like the Ring camera. And Mia's like, yep, they were sneaking boys into the hotel, or like the room, like da 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 da. And everybody's just like, you don't talk about the kids. Like, oh no. But it's Mia we're talking about. So Gizelle's like, okay. And then Gizelle, she stayed calm in the moment. She was cool, but in that confessional, baby, she said, I'm just taking it in. I'm processing it. I'm just like absorbing it. She's like, but once it's all taken in, I will respond. And that's how we end. And not for nothing, these are the situations where Gizelle can be as evil as she wants to be. Don't give a fuck. When it comes to the right people, Gizelle can be on 10. And I want her to unleash on Mia, because that's going to be an easy one. Like, Mia's going to put up a fight. I won't say it that way. Gizelle's going to chew her. Gizelle's going to end her. And I can't wait, because Mia needs it. She needs to be humbled, like, truly. The way Monique humbled Gizelle, Gizelle needs to pass that on. It's like a legacy humbling. She needs to give that to Mia. And I feel like all of them are about to give it to Mia, honestly. And I'm excited for that. And with that, the episode came to a close. And with that, this review has come to a close as well. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hope to catch you back for more, because I got more coming. Until the next time, bye.